Hello everyone, it's very nice to meet you again with the Disney Artist channel. In today's video it will be the character Heinz Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz is the main antagonist of the Disney Channel animated series Phineas and Ferb. He is a mad scientist who once plotted to rule over the tri-state area with the power of his eccentric inventions, referred to as innators. Doofenshmirtz's schemes were consistently foiled by the efforts of his nemesis, Perry the Platypus, a fedora-wearing secret agent. After numerous failed attempts at domination, Doofenshmirtz eventually retired from villainy and reformed, but would inexplicably return to villainy in the series' revival a decade later. In the interim he also became a recurring character in Milo Murphy's Law as a resident of the Murphy household and a friend to Vinnie Dakota. Doofenshmirtz is a 47-year-old mad scientist hailing from the village of Gimelstamm in the country of Drusselstein. He suffered through a comically exaggerated, neglectful, mentally abusive childhood that left him scarred for the rest of his life. His parents ignored him, briefly disowned him, forced him to wear dresses and act as a lawn gnome while favoring his brother, Roger Doofenshmirtz. Heinz saw very little support outside of his family, having no friends, apart from a balloonie and his neighbor Kenny, and facing bullies. Apart from cup stacking and shadow puppetry, he failed at most endeavors, including his romantic ones, such as his divorce from Charlene. His past hardships form the motivation behind many of his evil schemes. When Jeff, Swampy, Marsh and Dan Povenmire were working on the Nickelodeon animated series Rocko's Modern Life, they always had two things in episodes they worked on, a song or a musical number and an action chase scene. When they created Phineas and Ferb, they wanted to incorporate this trait into that series too. They used a platypus secret agent to do so due to the animal's interesting appearance and wanted to have a continuous nemesis for him that the viewers could get to know. They choose one named Dr. Metalschmertz. Metalschmertz was a prototype for Doofenshmirtz and carried a majority of his traits. His name eventually was changed to Doofenshmirtz. Every main character in the series was designed to incorporate geometric shapes in reminiscence of Tex Avery's graphic style from his Looney Tunes and merry melodies, as well as the cartoons he worked on at MGM Cartoons. Doofenshmirtz himself appearing to use that of an oval. They were as well meant to be drawn very simple so that the child viewers could draw them easily themselves. Each one was designed to be recognizable from a distance or, as Povenmire notes, as a reference to Matt Groening in The Simpsons by silhouette. Co-creator and executive producer Dan Povenmire voices Doofenshmirtz. Doofenshmirtz's voice is of Eastern European descent, most likely Czech, Polish or Sorbian. As he was noted by Lawrence as having a German accent, this became the voice Povenmire used since he was a 15-year-old having pillow fights with his sister. During recording sessions, Povenmire is easily able to ad-lib and improvise. The writers are known to change his lines around and add new ones without throwing him off. Povenmire sometimes adds his own lines to mix with the script, as well as being asked to alternate his voice to enunciate his lines. Povenmire is usually asked to perform the voice in interviews and performs the voice for his daughter's friends. Doofenshmirtz is portrayed as a scientific genius but an utterly incompetent schemer. He is a self-proclaimed, evil mad scientist who despises almost everything around him, including pelicans, ear hair and such obscure things such as musical instruments starting with the letter B, and otherwise taking unnecessarily large amounts of effort to accomplish menial tasks, finding the simpler ways to be too much of a bother. As he once tried to take Big Ben instead of just go out and buy a wall clock. Doofenshmirtz treats his nemesis Perry the Platypus as his best friend. and is often concerned for Perry when he does not arrive at the scene of his next scheme. Hesitating to execute his plans and fearing for where Perry has gone, though he notes that he hopes something terrible has happened to him. Doofenshmirtz's relationship with Perry has also been used to his advantage, as he once replaced Perry as his nemesis with a secret agent Panda Bear to cause depression in Perry, causing a distraction from his actual plot to freeze agents to use as a giant chess set. When Perry is reassigned by the agency to a higher-leveled threat, the Regurgitator, leaving Doofenshmirtz classified as a low-level threat who would be dealt with by a secret agent Snail. Doofenshmirtz himself took up an internship with the new villain to assist him in ultimately defeating the new threat and keeping Perry as his nemesis. He is currently the second fastest cup stacker in the world, only to Candace Flynn, who inadvertently breaks his record during one of her attempts to bust her brothers. He is also always beaten by a baking soda volcano in science fairs. He tends not to be evil in the traditional sense, but rather overly dramatic, eccentric, and generally clueless. This cluelessness is showed particularly in Bullseye, when he is seen with Rodney discussing Lawrence's first performance. With Rodney stating, "I didn't think anyone could be more incompetent at being evil than you," and Heinz saying, "Me neither." His usual lair is an office building that he apparently owns, though he's worked from other locations when necessary for his plans. Dr. Doofenshmirtz seems to quite enjoy musical numbers, and has performed songs about impressing his professor and how he hates his brother among other subjects. Though his plans are frequently clueless at best and his doctorate was purchased off the internet, some of his inventions, almost always suffixed with "anator," have been fairly impressive. Despite his ambitions, his daughter Vanessa points out that he is not evil at heart and his evil schemes are more out of an obligation to his backstories than himself. Doofenshmirtz's goal in life is to take over the entire tri-state area, and attempts to do so with obscure contraptions and inventions that tend to have "anator" as the suffix as a child. He invented a machine simply called the "anator." In nearly every episode of the series, Doofenshmirtz has an evil scheme or invention that he explains about through the means of a backstory from his youth. Despite the true dedication to this mission, nearly all of his plans have been thwarted by his nemesis Perry the Platypus. Throughout the series, the backstories explore his mentally abusive and shunned childhood growing up in the fictional village Gimmelsturm, Drusselstein. Doofenshmirtz usually monologues and displays acts of cartoonish physical violence towards his frenemy Perry, a skilled anthropomorphic platypus secret agent who disguises himself as the mindless pet of the series' main characters. Doofenshmirtz appears in several merchandise pieces based on the series, particularly the book series and the video games, though Doofenshmirtz usually fails on almost all of his schemes throughout the series, due to either his incompetence or Perry's intervention. There were a few times when he actually succeeded without Perry trying to stop him. For instance, when trying to put a good party for Vanessa's 16th birthday. Since he always failed on giving her a good birthday party all her life, he used this as another attempt to kill Perry by launching him with a giant firecracker during the ceremonies. Though Doofenshmirtz fails to defeat Perry while getting himself tied up to the launching firecracker, though he survives, the launch left a great impression for all of Vanessa's arriving friends, who find the party to be extremely cool. Touched by this, Vanessa happily thanks her father of getting one party right for her. After, Doofenshmirtz thanks Perry for helping him out. In spite of Doofenshmirtz's reputation as a villain, he will tend to play as the hero whenever it either benefits him the most or if he doesn't have a choice, such as being good for his daughter or adopting stray cats. In Last Day of Summer, upon learning that Vanessa is hoping to have an internship at OWCA, he is also told by her that he is terrible at being evil, and that the only thing motivating him are what happened in the past and not what comes from the heart. Convinced that he can be better at doing good, he decides to give up his evil ways to save the world from the effects of the do-over-anator, and to allow Vanessa to go for OWCA's job opening. In the OWCA files, he was able to become an agent for OWCA because he is considered to be an ocelot after being raised by a family of ocelots. A notable contribution he did for the agency was aiding Perry and the rookie agents stopping Professor Parenthesis from taking full control of the agency and the rest of the agents, and conquering the world in a revenge on Major Francis Monogram. In Summer Blockbuster, He returns to evil the following summer after spending the last year trying to do good, possibly negating his character arc on Milo Murphy's Law, as detailed below. Though reasons behind this remain to be seen, it can be inferred that this was partly out of habit, which not easy to grow out of. In Act Your Age, he is shown to be a good friend of Major Monogram, Perry, Carl, and the rest of OWCA, going on bowling night. Although Perry will still come to Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated whenever he accidentally sets off the evil alarm. Heinz is a recurring character in the animated, live-action talk show talking about evil stuff in one episode, but Isabella turned the TV off. Heinz is a major character in the Disney Channel original movie and meets his alternative self, who he noted that his second dimension self has a large scar on his eye. He is later tied up with Phineas, Ferb, Candace, and Agent P. Heinz becomes a supporting character in the second season of the show. In Fungus Among Us, the predecessor to The Phineas and Ferb Effect in the story arc, Heinz is revealed to eventually become Professor Time, the man who invented time travel. At the end of the episode, Milo, Diogi, Balthazar Cavendish, Vinny Dakota, and Orton Malson enter Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, only to end up in Doofenshmirtz's pizza delivery guy trap. In The Phineas and Ferb Effect, Heinz helps the group travel back in time to stop the Pistachions, but his incompetence hinders their efforts and the first attempt fails. He ends up stuck on an island with Dakota, Cavendish, and Orton, where he relates to Orton's worries about living up to their future accomplishments. When the group discovers the island is filled with time duplicates of Dakota, and that the soda they produce there is toxic to plants, Doof gets an idea to use the soda as a weapon against the Pistachions. During the battle against the Pistachions, Heinz's future self appears and takes Orton back to the past to stop the Pistachions' plan before it starts and causes them to be erased from history. In the aftermath of the battle, Murphy's Law destroys Heinz's building, forcing him to move in with the Murphys. How exactly the building was repaired in time for the Phineas and Ferb revival is currently unknown. In the episode, Strawberry Fest Forever, Doofenshmirtz has a brief cameo where he sees Balloony pop once again at the titular event and screams his name. In the episode, Shush Hour, Doofenshmirtz has another cameo advertising his Sushinator on the internet. Doofenshmirtz has notably appeared in the Random Rings shorts, in which he interacted with the Green family, and also had starring roles in the Broken Karaoke and How Not to Draw shorts. Strangely, these shorts depict him still being villainous-like as though the events of Last Day of Summer and his appearances on Milo Murphy's Law never happened. Foiling Dr. Doofenshmirtz was the main focus of the Agent P's World Showcase adventure game at Epcot, with a physical Doofenshmirtz figure being installed at the clock tower at the Germany Pavilion. In 2024, it was teased that Dr. Doofenshmirtz would be joining the villain lineup at the Oogie Boogie Bash Halloween event at Disney California Adventure. A costumed Dr. Doofenshmirtz previously appeared in Disney's Phineas and Ferb, the best live tour ever. First is to draw the body 2 legs, then wearing scientist outfit for Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Next is to draw 2 arms and then wearing black shoes for Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Next is to draw the head, then draw the eyes and make the face for Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Finally, attach 2 ears and draw the hairstyle for Heinz Doofenshmirtz. So the character Heinz Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb has been completed. Now, if you like this video tutorial, please remember hit the like and subscribe button to receive the new notify. At the same time, download the app and go to the website DisneyStore to shopping online, as well as Disney Plus to watch some movies and TV shows for free, used by many peoples of the world. Wishing you all a wonderful summer vacation with your loved ones, family, and we will to see you again next time everyone.